I want my baby back ribs, baby back ribs, chili, baby back ribs, baby back ribs, baby back ribs, chili, baby back ribs. Either way, that's for me to tell you that I have COVID and I feel like Either way, welcome back, everybody. I thought it's been like 2 months of the last upload. It's actually only been about 2 weeks. And yet, somehow, I managed to almost miss this entire chase thing. But, thankfully enough, as you will see here, it is a bit of an interesting conundrum. We got to hear this nice lovely mode here. But today, I actually wanted to go ahead and showcase it for y'all and see how this lovely mode actually plays out here. So, without further ado here, we're taking the Caucus Tankus here. The most beautiful, brilliant behemoth this wasteland has ever known. Throwing in the active Grizzly co-driver here for that little bit of extra resistance here, and just see how this bad boy does. I thought about also bringing out the cohort cabin. We could also try that, but realistically, we're not going to need that much like extra durability. I mean, this bad boy has some beef to it, but don't quite need it. So let's go ahead and give it a gander. Transition. All right, here we are yet again. Although, oddly enough, it always looks like that for whatever reason. I can never get a full group of 4 people in these modes, but I wouldn't be surprised. I've tested this out like at least a dozen times already, and the rewards here seem to be fairly interesting. The mode itself is actually super quick to actually get started and over with. Like, I would say probably less than... Honestly, you could do these modes in less than a minute in some circumstances. I would say less than a minute. But definitely less than 4 minutes in a lot of circumstances. Like, legitimately get done in a quarter of the time. Oh boy, the guy with the Gravistar is just going hog wild. Just sticking close to the vehicle so half the weapons can't sit here and peg us to death. There we go. Let them bad boys hurt us. Oh, so many rockets at us. Someone gonna help us? There we go. I'll take it though. We still get a little extra damage out of it. There we go. Let us go. And beautiful. First car down. Easy. Schmeckin' peasy. Look at that. I love how the gun still manages to sit there and just disrespect him by constantly going. You there, sirs? Where did the other dude even go? We had a third guy. He's just lost. Okay. We don't got time for this. We gotta go straight for the car. Wow. Just checking out the inside of it, and you managed to explode like 17 barrels to take up the majority of this car's HP. Nice. Alright, let's see if we can finish this and get the full reward. Because theoretically, if you destroy one car, you're gonna get the half reward, so shouldn't be too bad. And there we go. Easy frickin' peasy. God, that Gravistar absolutely destroyed those cars. A first place champion, I'll take it. Nice. So let's see, how long did that actually take here? I'm trying to see. That couldn't have taken more than, yep, literally less than 2 minutes to do this mode. And you can see I've done quite a few of them, and it seems to average between around 1.5 minutes to 4 minutes at the absolute peak of it. But beyond that, you can actually do this fairly easily. And it's a pretty consistent 6 plastic for the 2 little cars there. And I'm just trying to think, well, what does that compare to an average plastic raid? So I'm going to do one real quickly. We can just get an idea of how it is. So you can see here, we roughly got, I would say, double the rewards for double the amount of effort here when it comes to this. Now, of course, this is only a single data point, and I can't imagine it'd be terribly comprehensive. But considering that most people know how to do PvE missions incredibly well to the point where it's probably second nature to them, I wouldn't be surprised to see if that efficiency carries over to pretty much every single other PvE mission, including Chase. Now, Chase itself has quite a large variability in time depending on the quality group. Some of them can take less than 2 minutes, some of them can take upwards of 3 to 4 minutes. So realistically, if you average it out to accommodate for all of that, I would say roughly around each chase mission takes around 3 minutes, while any one of these PvE missions can take upwards of 4 to, in some instances, 10 minutes. But again, you also get close to double, if not triple, the rewards in some instances, because you've seen Frontier Defense. Frontier Defense has a lot more points into it than the average PvE mission, and gets you a lot more rewards thusly. So in that regard, yeah, it's about on par, maybe a little bit lower than the average PvE mission in terms of point availability, or in terms of like efficiency to grind per se. Because you also have to consider the fact that you have to get into each one of these chase missions, and chase is not as popular per se. Plus, with the fact that you're only getting 3 per mission as opposed to 4, and getting that pretty consistently, there is a higher degree of variability in that. But that's just for grinding. What do I actually feel about in terms of it just straight up raw, in terms of, how would I say, enjoyment factor, in terms of how well it's built? I do appreciate the map they actually custom designed for that in the mode, as well as the actual vehicles themselves. They do look very uniquely interesting, and they do have, to seem, a variety of these vehicles, so it actually does change up how you actually fight with them a little bit, and you actually change up the actual pathing of the vehicles, so it's not the same one every time. That being said, though, it's still very, very similar to the old chase mode that you knew and loved. While it does have some variability in terms of pathing, I believe it was already present in the previous chase mode. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm more than certain that the convoy routes they utilized for chase mode had 2 paths that they could choose. So in the case of this new chase mode, I guess they just made it so they have a lot more paths to choose from, which is nice, but the only downside is that the paths themselves don't offer any sort of difference between them. So realistically, it's actually more or less a cosmetic difference between each one of those paths. It's not really actually functionally different. And that's generally what you're trying to look for when you're actually alternating paths and things like that, as that there's an actual functional change to how you approach a map. I mean, think of something like Overwatch. When you actually go onto a different map, you take different vantage points, health kits are around at different locations, things like that, where it actually changes how you path around a location, plus the fact that the mode itself probably takes 2 or 3 times as long, allows for actual differences in playstyle. In this mode, you do not have any other time, so it's just full guns blazing the entire time, trying to get that thing down as soon as humanly possible. So in that regard, but on that, I really can't say a whole bunch because it's literally just the exact same chase mode as before, except slightly modified to be a Syndicate faction themed and Wolf theme, as opposed to just a generic Crossout theme. Now that being said, did I enjoy it? Yes, I absolutely did enjoy it, because for once, we had something different in our PvE mode, even if that was just something that was taken out because it was way too good and able to be... That was pretty much the only reason why it was removed. I'm 90% sure, because it was just so easy to abuse. Nowadays, not as much, at least not with melee weapons. People can still just go in there guns blazing with, like, liquid fire abilities, gravistars, things like that, and still absolutely destroy the vehicles. But again, at least now it's not just simple as ramming into the car and call it good, although I'm more than certain you probably could do that again. But beyond that, I think it's really going to be my thoughts and opinions on this brand new chase mode. What do you guys think about this mode? Is it something you guys would actually have to see stick around in the base game itself? What improvements could you make to this mode? And other than that, guys, I want to thank you all for your time, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.